In the quiet plains of Montana, Brad Pitt had reached the age of 60, living a life far from the bright lights of Hollywood. Most of his years had been spent in front of the cameras, but now silence was his closest companion. Every morning, he woke early, made his coffee, and stepped out onto the porch, staring at the mountains slowly emerging from the mist. The days were all the same. Loneliness wasn't just a state, it had become a habit. No phone calls, no doorbells ringing, and strangely, this silence felt more meaningful than all the noise he'd ever known. One morning, while checking the mailbox, Brad found an old, worn envelope. The paper was yellowed with age. Written on it was a name he recognized: John Aniston. Open when the time is right. Brad's heart skipped a beat. This was Jennifer Aniston's father, but John had passed away years ago. The envelope must have been sitting somewhere all this time, maybe in a drawer or with a lawyer. His hands trembled as he held it. He closed his eyes for a moment, took a deep breath, and sat down in the living room. On the old leather chair, he opened the envelope and quietly read the letter inside. Brad, if you're reading this, the day has come. Jennifer will be alone someday, and you promised to never turn your back on her. Words may be forgotten, but a conscience knows how to wait. Now I ask you, are you still true to your promise? Brad sat motionless, staring into the distance. His mind drifted back 30 years. It was 1999, back when he and Jennifer Aniston were together. On a film set break, John Aniston had pulled him aside with a serious but fatherly look. My daughter is strong, Brad, but when her heart breaks, she closes off. If you ever leave her alone, don't hesitate to come back. Even if she can't speak, you'll understand. Brad had looked him in the eyes and made a promise. But then life got complicated. They broke up, the media stormed in, new relationships, new lives started. That promise was lost in the noise. Brad sat in that chair for a long time, then folded the letter and put it in his pocket. He couldn't sleep that night. Before dawn, he booked a flight. He was heading to Los Angeles, not for a visit, but for a reckoning. Jennifer Aniston's beach house was no longer the glamorous place it once was. The garden was overgrown. The curtains were drawn. When Brad knocked, footsteps approached. The door opened. Jennifer. Her face was pale, hair messy, eyes tired but fierce. Seeing Brad, she held her breath, her hands trembling, their eyes locked. 20 years of everything hung thick in the air. Brad didn't speak. He simply handed her the envelope. Jennifer took it, scanning the letter. She immediately recognized her father's handwriting. Did he give this to you? Years ago, I promised him. And now you remember that promise? No, I forgot for years. But now, I can't forget. Jennifer silently opened the door wider. They stepped inside. The house was quiet. Brad settled into a corner of the living room. Jennifer sank into her old chair. Minutes passed without a word. Brad looked at Jennifer. You know, the last time I stayed silent with you was in 2003. This time, I can stay silent again. Jennifer smiled, though pain lingered on her face. She took a deep breath. Everyone left me, but no one came back. So you being here, I don't know how to feel. That night, the weight of the past mixed with their conversation, movies, scandals, relationships. But what mattered most were the things left unsaid. Brad turned to Jennifer. I have a regret about you. Leaving me? No, never calling you. And forgetting the promise I gave you. When morning came, Brad was still there. This time, he had no plans to run away. Jennifer made coffee. Brad helped. Together in the kitchen, they felt Normal for the first time. Days passed. Brad stayed longer. He joined Jennifer on her long walks, shared her quiet mornings, watching the ocean. The anger from the past gave way to acceptance. One evening, Jennifer looked at Brad and said, "My dad trusted you. Maybe for the first time, he truly trusted someone. Even your later rival proved him right." Brad lowered his eyes. He didn't answer. Jennifer reached out her hand. Brad took it. That night, they didn't say a word. Some bonds, after all, are mended in silence. Time went on. Brad never returned to Montana. He began living with Jennifer. The tabloids noticed, rumors flew, but neither of them said a word, because this was no love story. This was the story of a promise left behind, finally kept. And as you grow older, what you seek is less love and more peace with your conscience.